Greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And you can listen to us locally, as many of you are, in the Green Bay, Wisconsin market in the USA. But you can also go to my website, terrytalksnutrition.com. There you can listen live to the radio show anywhere around the world, as long as you change your times as to where you are to be on the same time we are here in the Central Standard Time in the USA. If you do not want to listen live, which I think is very inconvenient for many people, that's okay. But we have also archived many of our radio shows in the archive section of the radio section, that you can pull up a radio show at your convenience anytime you want, and even take it on the road with you. And while you're there, you can also subscribe on my website to my weekly newsletter that will be sent to you on Fridays to your email address. Why do we have this show? I was thinking about that. And no one's going to help us be healthier. Doctors can't. Even though doctor means teacher, they are not teaching us anything about health and nutrition. They don't have any education. Truly. All doctors will admit that in all their med school education, they hardly get an hour or two on health and nutrition. They themselves have no clue of what makes us healthy. They know what makes us sick, and they have a drug in their toolbox to prescribe for us based on the education they receive from the drug companies. And the drug companies like sick people, so they're not going to tell us to be healthy. They're not going to show us how to be healthy or educate us. Because drug companies, while they do some wonderful things, like they all pulled together to create vaccines for people that are under the gun and unhealthy, and are suffering from the COVID-19, so they develop vaccines. And in record time, although they're not approved, and are they safe? That is a question that everybody should ponder before you get a vaccine. I'm not against them, but some things you should think about as you may question whether or not you want to have a vaccine. I would suggest you talk to your physician and you pray about it. Have a question with God. But these are the things we have to think about getting healthy. There is nobody, drug company, or doctors that can offer us a health solution. And at the bottom of the line, and at the end of the day, it's you and I who are responsible for our health. And you and I are the only ones that can improve our health or allow our health to decline. I said so many times that 98% of all of our diseases are due to lifestyle choices. That means we have the freedom to choose health or not. We can burn the candle at both ends. We can eat a junk food diet because of the pleasures of eating junk and sugar. We can lay on the couch and do nothing. We can undermine our health and our immune system. Or we can make changes for the better. Now, how many people, I know many people listen every Saturday or Sunday, and both. Are you doing anything? Are you making better choices? Are you doing things to improve your health? The health is our bodies are very forgiving. We can spend decades destroying our health. And if we haven't gone too far with the destruction, we can turn around the health of our bodies and improve our health dramatically, significantly, in a matter of months. So we have the opportunity, no matter how old we are, how young we are, what conditions we have, what occupation we have, whatever, we can make healthy choices for a healthier body. No question. So that's why we're here. We want to share information with you that offers you opportunities to select ideas or products or ingredients that tend to make you healthier and better. And like today, we're going to offer you opportunities for fast relief for pain. We're going to talk about a substance that I have not mentioned very often, and I should, that can actually stop viral infection. And I'll talk more about that in a few moments. We'll talk about ED, erectile dysfunction, and not just is it an old man's problem. Younger men today have erectile dysfunction, cannot have an erection. And I'll talk about how to live longer with an herb, and we'll talk about a closer look at the circadian rhythm. And here is an unusual food to increase testosterone. As men get older, the hormone testosterone is produced in a lesser quantity than a younger man. So we have a lot of, even more on the docket today. But let's try to get through some of this before the hour is gone. It goes by way too fast anyway. But I just wanted to show you where we're going today. And if you hang around for this hour, I think it would be very well rewarded. So, natural pain relief. Many drugs are on the market today. And those drugs have very serious side effects. All drugs have some degree of serious side effects. Now, one herb, I guess I would have to call it a spice, curcumin, from the plant turmeric, relieves pain. Now, there's a huge difference between the key ingredient in turmeric and turmeric itself. You can use turmeric in a capsule. You can buy turmeric. You can buy it on the spice shelf in many grocery stores. And I love it as a spice. I use it in all my foods. But the medicinal value, by research, over 15,000 studies have shown the value and the health benefits of curcumin, not turmeric. Curcumin is found in the root, the underground portion, and technically it's called a rhizome. It's underground. It's not the leaves, stems, or the upper portion of the plant. Curcumin is found in the root. root of turmeric. But it's only there in about 2 to 4%. Not enough to have a major medicinal impact. So researchers have found by accumulating all the curcumin in the turmeric plant, the root, and concentrating it up to 95%. So the powder, after it's extracted from the plant of turmeric, is 95% curcumin. But now, like many natural ingredients, curcumin is very, very poorly absorbed out of the intestinal tract. It's a compound that can't get through the lining of the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and circulate throughout the body. So while we know that curcumin has benefits from lab work, animal work, it's not absorbed systemically so that it reaches every cell in the body to have an effect. So researchers are looking for ways to increase some of these very difficult compounds. And the researchers in India found that by binding regular curcumin 95% with turmeric essential oil, both are from the same plant. It's the only curcumin in the world that uses only ingredients from the plant. Some forms of curcumin that are bound to other ingredients to increase absorption are not natural. They're synthetic. And some are very harmful. But they're trying to jump on the bandwagon because curcumin has been the number 1 or number 2 ingredient in the world for the last couple of years. And everybody wants to sell some form of curcumin. But the curcumin with the turmeric essential oil is a patented process that shows that it increases absorption 700%. And there are over 75 studies just on this form of curcumin, now known as curcumin BCM95. And from the research, it relieves pain. It reduces the intensity of muscle pain, like when you garden, you're bending over, or you're working out and you're putting a lot of strain and stress on your muscles, or you're golfing, you're torquing your back. It's a lot of muscle pain based on a lot of activities. We use our muscles all the time. Some construction workers or other occupations that lift heavy objects are also causing an intense damage of their muscles, therefore pain. So curcumin reduces the intensity of the muscle pain, back pain, headache pain. It reduces the muscle damage because the more severe damage to our muscles, it eventually will cause additional problems. And curcumin has a very powerful anti-inflammatory effect. So it squashes inflammation. And 98% of all diseases are primarily based on oxidative stress and therefore the inflammation caused by the oxidative damage. Clinical trials have shown that curcumin reduces muscle pain and increases athletic performance. You see many athletes, professional athletes, that are paid millions of dollars, and they haven't a broken bone, but they have muscle damage. They have a hamstring pull, or a ligament, or whatever it might be, but muscles are also involved in any type of athletic performance or endeavor. So it would be excellent for any athlete to include Curcumin BCM 95 in their toolbox. And it speeds recovery after performance or exercise. It reduces exercise-induced inflammation. But how do you have this effect to speed up recovery very fast? There is now a new research study that shows that fast pain relief from Curcumin and Boswellia combined with Black Sesame Seed Oil This is the combination that has been studied for the reduction of acute pain relief, such as healthy adults with acute muscle pain took an herbal pain blend like curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil, or part of the study was patients who took an OCT pain drug once a day in the morning for 7 days. So this proprietary herbal pain blend, curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil, 1,000 milligrams, and in the research they used 2 soft gels, 500 milligrams each, for a total of 1,000 milligrams once daily. The OTC drug that was selected in the study, so you had half the group of the subjects in the study took 2 soft gels equaling 1,000 milligrams of the combination of curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil. The other half of the study group took acetaminophen, 2 tablets, which was the equivalent of 1,000 milligrams. So both groups took 1,000 milligrams. One took the drug, one took the blend of the herbal ingredients. Both groups had equally effective pain relief. That means the herbal group that does not have side effects was as effective as acetaminophen, the drug, which has many side effects, including a severe liver damage. Acetaminophen, otherwise known as Tylenol, is the number 1 cause of liver failure and liver damage in the U.S. The herbal pain relief, the herbal pain combination, was 8 times better than the drug in reducing unpleasantness and emotional aspects of acute pain. When people have pain, they're moody, they're irritable, they're unhappy. These are the emotional aspects of acute pain. And the herbal pain blend was 8 times better in reducing these conditions that are emotionally involved with pain. You know, if you bump into somebody in the grocery store and they have pain, they're not going to greet you very well. They might even snap at you. They're unhappy. People that have pain can be ugly. And it's not the way they should be. but you got to cut them some slack because pain is a tremendous amount of stress. And these results were detectable with just the very, very first dose. As soon as 1 hour after taking the Curcumin Boswellia Black Sesame Seed Oil combination. And no side effects. There is no side effects to this combination. Now, what makes it better? The combination of curcumin and boswellia have been found in other formulations. But black sesame seed oil is an emulsifier. Remember I told you that curcumin, even boswellia, are very difficult to be absorbed systemically? They can't get in the body. And you can't do very much reaching only the intestinal tract. You have to get it to circulate throughout the body, to get it to the joints, to get it to the muscles, to get it into the cellular structure. So the black sesame seed oil is an emulsifier that makes the absorption of curcumin and boswellia more effective. But also in the same right, black sesame seed oil by itself is also an anti-inflammatory. If you pour two different ingredients, if you're going to make a cake and you pour flour and milk or eggs in a bowl, you have nothing. But you have other ingredients that start whipping it into a batter. And the black sesame seed oil whips curcumin and boswellia into a batter that all three are blended together synergistically and increases absorption significantly with no known side effects. But now they found that this combination is not just for muscle pain. In a case of rheumatoid arthritis, patients received curcumin and it reduced pain and swelling more effectively than the prescription drug. 14% of patients in the drug group dropped out of the study because they had such serious side effects they could not continue in the clinical study. While those taking curcumin had zero side effects, and therefore zero participants dropped out of the curcumin group because no side effects. In a study of curcumin versus ibuprofen in arthritis patients, osteoarthritis, curcumin group had less pain, better ability to walk upstairs and walk a distance further with less pain than those that took ibuprofen. And again, the curcumin had no adverse effects, where there were adverse effects and dropouts in the ibuprofen group. Now here's another study of curcumin with boswellia, and this was a study for osteoarthritis versus a drug called Celebrex. So it relieved arthritis pain more effectively than any prescription drug, NSAID, or Celebrex. 14% of the patients were pain-free after 3 months on the curcumin-boswellia combination versus 7% of the drug group, and also, again, the Curcumin and Boswellia group were without adverse effects or side effects. These are very powerful herbs and spices that can make a difference in your pain level and how you recover, and without side effects. But there's a lot of products on the market. I think probably a couple hundred companies are selling curcumin and boswellia. So what do you buy? How do you know what you're buying? And no formulation, no product, no herb is the same just because it says it's called by the same name. It depends on the manufacturing process. It depends on what solvents they use. It depends on what ingredients they use to increase absorption. There are many things that go into making a high-quality product. And both curcumin BCM 95 and boswellia, BOS 10, both are studied effectively for relieving pain without adverse effects, without side effects. And over 75 studies on curcumin. Good research prepares a good outcome and a result from a product like curcumin, BCM 95. So we are at the bottom of the hour. We've got just a few seconds before we take a break. So we'll be coming up with more interesting information. So don't go away, stay where you are. But just remember, for fast-acting pain relief, a combination of curcumin, boswellia blended with black sesame seed oil. 1,000 milligrams of the blend once at a time. Make sure you take 2 soft gels together, but you can do that 2 or 3 times daily if necessary. And there are no known side effects, no adverse effects. So stay where you are, friends. We'll come back right after these messages and give you more quality information for your health. This is Terry Naturally with Terry Talks Nutrition. And we're back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally with Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. We bring you information and confirmation on natural products, many of them, as we have just alluded to in the first half of the program. They are science-based. We want products that have science evidence that they work. And stay with the products that are science-based. Many people try to copy and use, in fact, a very good company, I know that's in Asia. They have done over 300 studies on their ingredient. I'm not going to mention the ingredient right now, but they have spent hundreds of millions of dollars and 300 studies. And I know 4 or 5 other companies that sell the same ingredient borrowed their studies and tried to infer that their product did the same. If you don't prove it, don't say it. Not fair. So the company finally sued all the other companies for stealing their studies, or at least trying to infer their studies were also associated with their product, and of course they won. But that's the trouble with a lot of products that cannot be patented because there are natural products. So many times they try to borrow the science to associate it with their product. Unfair. So here's a product that I absolutely love. You probably hear me that all the time. I love all my products. Why not? I love the ingredients. I've seen research with them. I've gone through all the studies on the websites. And now is the time when this ingredient can be very helpful. I've talked about antigraphis. I've talked about grapeseed extract. I've talked about melatonin. I've talked about curcumin and Boswellia. But here's one I have not spent a lot of time talking about, and that's a shame, because this is a very special ingredient. And the ingredient is propolis. Propolis is an ingredient that the bees don't naturally make, but they do make it in a way. They don't make it themselves. They borrow ingredients from trees, flowers, shrubs, and buds, and they take the bioflavonoids, the polyphenols that are in plants, and they bring these ingredients into the hive or the colony, and they make it into a putty or a glue by mixing it with beeswax and their saliva, and they use it for like a plaster, and they cover all the cracks and crevices of the hives, and they also put it around the entrance of the hive to prevent bacteria or viruses entering the colony with the possibility of killing off all the bees. They protect their hive, they sanitize it hygienically with propolis to stop viral invasion. But we can also use that same propolis after it's been purified by removing any kind of wings or parts of bees. We purify it. We also take out all the beeswax because beeswax can't be digested. Take out all the undigested resin and make it into a natural medicine. In Germany, Italy, and many countries around the world, propolis is one of the most effective medicines for viral infection. But it's also called a multi-antimicrobial, meaning not only viral infection, but bacterial infection and fungal infection. It's very powerful. There is a virus called herpes simplex viral infection, HSV, which causes pain and blisters and sores around the mouth, called cold sores or fever blisters. And then there is the HSV2, which causes sores on the genitalia or the genitals, and is called herpes 2, and that around the mouth is herpes 1. Now, the typical treatment for both HSV 1 and 2 is a prescription drug called acyclovir. But like all drugs, or many drugs, such as antibiotics, cells, bacteria, viruses become resistant to the treatment because the treatment is not strong enough to destroy the virus, so the virus mutates and becomes stronger. So, however, this HSV virus can become resistant to acyclovir treatment, especially in people who are immunocompromised. somehow their immune system, like HIV or AIDS patients particularly, they're immunocompromised. And our immune system is truly our natural vaccine. Vaccines try to do the same thing as our immune system. So keeping our immune systems healthy is the best way to prevent invasion of a virus, bacteria, or fungus that eventually will cause infection. Like in the case of COVID-19. The virus causes inflammation, causes a cytokine storm, causes severe sickness, illness, and even death. And I think it's primarily due to having a very poor immune system. Because the American diet is close to 85 to 95% based on carbohydrates and sugar. Both carbohydrates and the pure sugar, both are sugars, and they compromise the immune system. And all the people that are overly fat and obese, and we've seen that during severe episodes of COVID-19, those that were severely fat or obese had the worst outcome with COVID-19 or viral infection. So we want to strengthen the immune system. You can't defend a country with a weak army or a weak military, a weak navy, not having the tools, the ships, the tanks, the weapons to defend the country. And our immune system has to have the weapons to also protect the body from invasion. A strong immune system makes the difference between getting sick or not. And here's a new study indicating propolis against HSV1. Propolis is a resin that is gathered from plants like trees and shrubs and buds and flowers by the bees and utilized in their hives as a natural defense mechanism to sanitize and make healthy the colony or the hive. However, the purified powder, they purify it of the waxes and the inactive compounds, and it has a very high level of the beneficial polyphenols. Then this is called the concentrated propolis, is a very strong antiviral. Researchers recently exposed both HSV1 and HSV2, exposed the cells of these two forms of viral infection to propolis or to acyclovir. The group was divided in half. Half the patients were given propolis and half were given acyclovir to see which had the best antiviral activity. Now we're comparing this directly to a drug. The drug of use today, a prescription drug that is primarily only used for both forms of viral infection, HSV1 and HSV2, herpes 1 and 2. So there was this, what what could we visualize, what could we see, and what could we learn as to which had the best antiviral activity between propolis and acyclovir. Well, after the study, the results were propolis was slightly, but more effective than the drug. More effective than acyclovir, a drug that is produced by Pfizer and Glasgow against HSV1. It had a 7% greater viral inhibition and significantly more effective than HSV2. Now, 7% more effective than acyclovir for cold sores and fever blisters. Now, herpes of the genitals, it was 55% greater viral inhibition than the drug. Amazing, right? Absolutely unbelievable. Now, propolis was also studied against COVID-19, the coronavirus. Researchers tested the ability of purified, concentrated propolis. And in the study, the one they used is called EP300. Edward Paul, EP300. And the concentrated propolis, EP300, was tested to stop different types of RNA viruses. Two of the vaccines that are now available from Moderna and from Pfizer are RNA vaccines. This family of viruses include the feline coronavirus, the human coronavirus, and a viral disease affecting horses and cattle. Now, 5 minutes exposure to propolis reduced the VSV virus by over 99%. Feline cat coronavirus was reduced by 99.9% after 15 minutes exposure to propolis. Human coronavirus was reduced by 99.9% after 30 minutes exposure. Propolis is a very powerful multi-antimicrobial and is useful for viral infection, bacterial infection, yeast and fungal infections, and is safe for both adults and children. There is no known side effects, and children as young as brand new babies. There are no side effects. Wonderful for cold and flu of all varieties. It has a tremendous benefit. I would suggest on the EP300, probably 200 milligrams daily would be a very good preventative to prevent viral infection. If on the first notice of illness or signs and symptoms of coronavirus or any virus or any cold or flu, I would probably up that to 400 to 800 milligrams. 800 milligrams was the strongest and most powerful form of propolis EP300. This can be very, very valuable. I would rather support my immune system than take a virus. Oh, excuse me, take a vaccine. Erectile dysfunction. And we now know that it's not just old men that have a problem with erectile dysfunction. It's not an old man problem. It's a problem throughout the male population. I was quite surprised by the numbers. When we did the research, more common among younger men than previously thought. Researchers in Italy analyzed the ages of men seeking medical treatment for a new onset erectile dysfunction disorder, and 1 in 4, 26%, were under the age of 40. A number much higher than previously reported, which once was reported 8 to 11% of men under the age of 40. What is happening? Well, one of the things that I think is happening is the diet and lowering cholesterol. We make testosterone and all of our sex, male and female hormones from cholesterol. It's a natural nutrient, so important and so critical to the body that our Creator of our human body installed a mechanism of action in the body to produce cholesterol. We need it, and at very high levels. Now, when I say high, anything under 300 on the total cholesterol levels is fine. The World Health Organization recommends that we keep the cholesterol level between 220 and 240, and more damage is done to the body, and more heart attacks and more strokes and more death occur in people that have low cholesterol, meaning under 200. So if we are on drugs for lowering cholesterol, our diet, especially for men, as you get fatter and obese, now 91% of Americans are over fat. Not quite obese, but over fat. Too much fat for their structure. But 42% of all white males, everybody, whether male or female, 41 to 42% are obese. Half our population for white Americans. For the Hispanic, it's 44%. For the black men, it's 48%. And all that fat has cells, fat cells, that produce estrogen. That's why we have the man boobs. That's why we have less testosterone. Now, if you're obese and taking drugs for lowering cholesterol, that's a double whammy. Although younger men have fewer associated with health conditions, along with ED, such as diabetes or high blood pressure, that can also cause ED, erectile dysfunction. But they are also more likely to smoke, lowering ED or causing ED, because it inhibits blood circulation, clogs the arteries, and blood flow is which is required for an erection. Drink excessive amounts of alcohol, use recreational drugs, and these are all lifestyle choices. Remember I said our body, our health is based on lifestyle choices. And all these lifestyle choices can affect sexual dysfunction. or sexual function. One of the most beneficial herbs to help correct erectile dysfunction at any age is red ginseng, which improves erectile function. The result of 6 randomized trials. So this is what is called a meta-analysis. Not just one result from a study, but taking 6 different trials and looking at what is caused by the 6 combined studies, which included over 300 men with ED, erectile dysfunction. 58% of participants taking red ginseng experienced improvement in some aspects of sexual function versus only 20% in the placebo group. In a study that looked at red ginseng that was highly concentrated for ginsenosides, these are the key compounds in ginseng, and just after 8 weeks of use, every single sexual health parameter that could be measured to show improvement was significantly improved. Erectile function, sexual desire, frequency of intercourse, and sexual satisfaction. By combining an extract of apple and grape polyphenols along with saffron, enriched the results. Now, the mechanism of action of apple, grape, and saffron is that it shows an increase in nitric oxide. The nitric oxide production improves blood flow. In a clinical trial, 72% of the subjects in the study significantly improved their scores on a standardized scale of erectile function. So you might look for a combination of red ginseng, maybe about 200 milligrams, probably a 600 milligrams total, 500 to 600 milligrams total of the red ginseng and the combination of apple, grape, and saffron. Guys, if you are experiencing a difficulty in achieving an erection or maintaining an erection for long enough for satisfaction, the red ginseng has been proven scientifically, clinically, along with apple, grape, and saffron to improve the hardness, rigidity, and the lasting time of a erection. Red ginseng is slightly different than white ginseng. White ginseng is primarily how it grows. It grows as white ginseng. It's called Panax Meyer ginseng, the species name. The red ginseng, and it does look red after you look at it, that is caused by steaming or cooking the ginseng. And by cooking a fibrous substance, improves the absorption of the nutrients, especially when it's hydroponically grown. That in itself, through some unusual occurrence, improves the absorption of red ginseng by 17 times, and it is 7 times stronger in the active components of red ginseng. Well, that, my friends, I'm all out of time. Again, this hour flew by way too fast, but now is the time for you to start thinking about, what do I do to improve my health? There are many things you can do. Change your diet, get better quality of sleep, get more exercise. There are many things you can do to be healthier. With that, my friends, I encourage you to do something. And say a prayer for this crazy, crazy world. God bless you, and God bless America.